what I mean? But he is a
No, I mean, if
beast.
you're a Chargers fan, that was like the last thing you wanted to see is Justin Herbert getting injured in a game, especially against the Raiders, right? You know, the Chargers, you knew the Chargers were going to win this game. The Raiders are a terrible mess right now. And for Justin Herbert to fracture a bone in his left hand, and the Chargers are not a shoo-in for the playoffs right now. I mean, they've got to win some games down the stretch to make sure they get into the playoffs. And if they get into the playoffs, you've got to have Justin Herbert if you feel like you're going to have a chance to win.
Not easy to stay healthy in the NFL, man.
No, it's not, especially as a quarterback. So again, surgery today. We don't know. We don't know what that's going to look like. You know, will he be back next week? Will he be out in a couple weeks? So we'll keep an eye on Justin Herbert, QB for the Lightning Bolts. Let's talk some college football, man. What a weekend. Rivalry weekend. We saw number one Ohio State snap a losing streak to Michigan in the snow. So it'll be the Buckeyes taking on Indiana this coming weekend for the Big Ten Championship. Oregon did not get in. So it's going to be number one in the nation against number two in the nation, Indiana. And Patrick, as we get closer to this college football playoff, both those teams are going to be, getting into the postseason. I mean, the Big Ten was loaded this year.
Yeah, and I mean, I do think Ohio State is absolutely incredible. And now they've kind of gotten over some humps. They won the good old national championship. Yeah. Now they finally beat Michigan after kind of a dry spell for sure. So now I think they're good. And now they're kind of realizing they're good. I think they're going to give Indiana the business.
They might. I mean, they might. They're the defending, national champions, and they always seem to rise up in those big games. And Indiana, as great of a story they have been, they got to beat somebody, right? If you're going to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. So we're going to find out in this Big Ten championship game. And who knows, we might get an Indiana versus Ohio State rematch somewhere in the playoffs, as we go forward. So
of course.
We might see that. So heavy Big Ten football in the college football playoff. It will not include USC. USC did beat UCLA over the weekend. Big rivalry game there. But USC is going to be just on the outside looking in on this college football playoff. They'll get into a nice bowl game, like a pretty upper tier bowl game, but not in the college football playoff.
Yep, it's like when they got in there with the big boys, they couldn't quite hang. Good team, but not a great team.
Exactly. You said it best. And now there's, all this conversation about Lincoln Riley maybe on the move from USC. I'll kind of bring it home a little bit. Well, we had the high school football CIF championship games, and our Centennial team from Corona lost to Santa Margarita for the Division I championship at the Rose Bowl. And Santa Margarita is coached by Carson Palmer, and I've seen multiple people on social media saying maybe Carson Palmer should be the next head coach at USC. Go back to where, it all started for him and try to resurrect that program.
Yeah, it always seems like it's really tough just to jump in and run the whole program. That seems like it would be a lot. And Carson Palmer, let's remember, wasn't he living like up in Idaho to kind of get out of the spotlight? He doesn't like Santa Margarita, maybe the most amount of spotlight he wants.
Yeah, he's the anti-Lane Kiffin, right? He's not out there looking for the cameras, looking for headlines, wants to be the center of attention. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what USC needs. They've gone the other direction so many times. Maybe they need a guy like Carson Palmer, who was in his first year coaching high school football, so it's not like he has this long resume of coaching at least, but he just won high school football's toughest division, so there is that. And finally, speaking of Lane Kiffin, we all heard he's on the move. He's going to LSU. He's going to take over the Bengal Tigers down the bayou. And what's funny here, Patrick, is Ole Miss, the Rebels, are going to be a college football playoff team. And he wanted to actually coach them through the playoffs and then bolt for LSU. And the school said, no, that's not how it's going to work. You cannot hang with our program knowing that you're going to leave.
Yeah. We're not going to let you sit here and recruit all these players to come with you and coaches to come with you to LSU. In the end, they said no. And it looks like only about 4 coaches are going to be going with him.
Yeah, you make an excellent point. And then there's some, reports out there that he gave them the ultimatum. Like, hey, if you're going to follow me to LSU, the time is now. You got to follow me now. If you don't follow me to, Baton Rouge today, you're not going to be on my coaching staff. And he drew a hard line in the sand.
Yeah, and we'll find out who the coach of Ole Miss will be. Is there any way they can keep the ship rolling at Ole Miss? Because it's like you said, They're in the playoff, and that's the goal, baby. That's why you'd think this would be a really tough decision for Lane, because it's like, hey, I'm in the playoff now at Ole Miss. You know what I mean? It seems like I thought he was going to stay, and I thought it would be really cool if he stayed, but he didn't.
Yeah, you know what? If you look at the program right now, Ole Miss is a better program than LSU, but if you look at, I don't know, tradition, national championships, maybe there's more funding, maybe there's an easier path to win a national title at LSU. But right now, today, on this Monday morning, Ole Miss is in the college football playoff. LSU is not. Ole Miss is a better program right now on this morning.
That's how, like we learned in The Godfather, they gave him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They just gave him so much dough. He said, okay, you know what I mean? We got to do this for sure. People booing him at the tarmac, man. You should have seen him as he was getting on.
He's used to it, though. I mean, look at his track record. Everywhere he's gone, he's followed the money. He's jumped from job to job. Like, none of us are surprised, that he's following the money, but he just had such a good thing going at Ole Miss.
When they were booing him on the tarmac, he goes, you think this is my worst day on the tarmac? Later, you guys.
USC.
Wow. No kidding, man. What a sports weekend it was. We'll catch up with our guy Pep on Thursday. Pep, tell him how to get your stuff.
Hey, you can get my stuff anytime at Inland Sports. That's Inland Sports on X, on Instagram, and Facebook. We're also on YouTube. That is Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.